Couples from all over the country shared their biggest arguments over ridiculous things like household appliances with the Washington Post. They talk about toilet seat positioning, how spoons should be placed in the dishwasher, which is important. You gotta have the spoon side up, okay? Maximum cleanliness, remember that. Now with that said, let's do a little voyeurism and hear from couples and what they fight about. The spoon fight. We fight over how to put spoons in the dishwasher. I put them in so the handle is down and the scoop is up. You know what? You're right, that is the way you're supposed to do it. Her husband, though, does the opposite. It's gotten so bad that we will turn them around when the other person isn't looking. I like to do it when the other person is looking.
Of course.
All right, let them know. Let them know.
Salt dragon regulating. Shocking that you do that. Okay, it's actually shocking that anybody would argue with you, but okay. Okay.
By the way,
I have strong opinions on this in a second.
I mostly do the house cleaning, so don't worry. It doesn't happen often. But let's get to the other one. The couple argues about overzealous power-saving tactics. Absolutely the biggest, most annoying recurring argument my husband and I have had over the years, 30 plus, is about cutting out the lights all the time. I will leave a room and he follows in after me and cuts out the lights. And I'm still using that room. For me, ambient lighting helps my overall well-being, especially on cloudy, darker days. And I've mentioned this over and over again till it leads to an argument about the same old thing. It's exhausting. Okay, so I wanna stop with this one and talk about it a little bit, because it's funny because Christian and I were talking about how compatible we are with each other, right? Because when it comes to the big things, the fundamentals, it's all there, which is great. But I did admit, I'm like, yeah, you definitely have little habits that annoy the crap out of me and vice versa. Like one of the things, and this is definitely an immigrant thing, right? Comes from an immigrant family, I come from an immigrant family. The reusing of the Ziploc bags, okay? We use the Ziploc bag and instead of just throwing it away, once we're done with the Ziploc bag, Christian dutifully like fills it with soapy water. He'll wash some dishes sometimes, but like he'll leave the Ziploc bag sitting in the sink with the soapy water for me to deal with later. And I hate it. And I've gotten to a point where I'm like, I'm throwing it away. So I throw them away immediately. I don't even entertain it, right? But I don't say anything to him about it. One time when I came home from work, I noticed that the Ziploc bags were in the sink ready for me to deal with. And I got really mad and I took the Ziploc bag and I put it on his pillow. And then I got high and I was like, this is not a good idea. Why am I doing this? And then I put the Ziploc bag away, I threw it away. So my point is, don't fight about stupid things. Like you're living with someone, by the nature of having to share a space with another individual, they're gonna have little habits that annoy you. Don't let it turn into a fight. That's my point. Okay,
I have many points. First of all, let's note that the nonsense websites that say, oh, this is how much Cenk Uygur is worth, or Kasparian is worth.
Yeah, right? I know.
Well, I mean, if you're reusing Ziploc bags, okay, now you know those sites aren't true, okay? So now I'm come from an immigrant family too, but that one was that next level stuff, okay? Now look, you're gonna have normal fights because of, let's keep it real, for a couple of different reasons. One is uneven workload, right? So if somebody's doing all the housework or all the parenting and the other one isn't chipping in, especially if that person's already working, etc., right? You're gonna start to get snippy about that stuff. That's normal, happens all the time. And then you'll notice hypocrisies, right? That happens all the time and you're gonna fight over that. But those, although are huge areas of fights, and they always start with something small, right? You don't just say, oh, I think you're a hypocrite. What happens is, hey, you're leaving the window open too much.
The window debate.
The window debates, right? So that stuff happens. And in some ways, you're just physically not compatible. Somebody likes it hot, the other person likes it cold, etc. But the biggest one is not any of those. It's the difference in perspective. And no one ever talks about this. And it's probably the number one thing you should know before you get married. That other person grew up in a different context, sometimes in a different culture, right? And she has, or he has, all of these different thoughts in their heads, right? They are not the same as the thoughts in your head. And so you will often assume that she thinks like you do and then get like surprised or angry that she doesn't. Well, there's a reason why she doesn't think the way you do. She's not the same person as you. She's different genetically, she's different culturally, and she comes at it with different assumptions and different perspectives. So the way to work that out is to talk to each other more and go,
right.
And instead of saying this is the right way or that's the right way, leave the lights on, don't leave the lights on. You should talk about, here's why I leave the lights on, this is my perspective on it, right? And the other person says, this is my perspective on it. And then you realize at a minimum, oh, that's why we're constantly disagreeing.
Right.
And then if you can, get to a negotiated compromise.
Now this one might be the dumbest squabble, which is a great word, by the way. Choice use of squabble here.
Yep.
Now, my wife refers to the vacuum as the sweeper, and she's wrong about that, by the way. Okay, so Kaiser, you should feel good about the fact that you're correct, and will tell me to sweep the floor. However, I remind her that it's called a vacuum, and that I'll be able to vacuum the floor, but I will not sweep the entire floor.
No, that's so funny. You're on Kaiser's side, I'm against Kaiser. I'm on the wife's side. Okay, it's not the sweeper here in America. Who cares though, Kaiser? Let it go, brother. It's kind of cute that she calls it the sweeper. You know, it's like almost charming. I don't know, I guess she's British. Does she also call your garage a garage? Okay, a garage. That's fun, let her keep doing it.
Is she concerned about your dynasty?
Is she creating a lot of controversies?
With aluminium.
Okay, so just, you gotta learn how to let the little stuff go. Yeah. And by the way, you might do all of this right, and at the end of the day, you realize you're just not compatible enough.
Right.
And that happens. And so, and I know in Hollywood, they're like, opposites attract, and no. Maybe, okay, but in my experience, the more similar the perspectives are, the easier it is to get along.
Yep.
And so, if you're not married and you're thinking, which way do I go? I would urge similar.
Okay, there's more. So if you've ever cleaned a dishwasher, you might relate to this squabble. My husband and I were in a never-ending battle about whether to rinse the dishes before putting them in a dishwasher. I'm a lifelong rinser. Here, I'm right there with you. I know it uses more water, and I know the dishwasher is designed to wash the dirty dishes, and I know that it just catches the food debris in the filter, but I hate cleaning the filter. After another heated dish rinsing dispute, I told him I would only do it his way if he cleaned the filter. The following day, he tried his hand at the absolutely vile and soul-crushing task of filter cleaning. Ever since that day, we have lived in peace, thoroughly rinsing our dishes together as one. Yeah, my issue with not rinsing the dishes before you put them in the dishwasher is that even if you have a good dishwasher, it's not gonna catch all of the stuff that needs to be cleaned off of it, right? It'll get dry as you're, loading the dishwasher with other dishes in like coming days. And then that dry, stuck on food is even more difficult to get off in the dishwasher. So I like to rinse before.
Okay, so I think there's two interesting things that come out of that. Number one, if somebody's hassling you about something you're doing, but they're not helping you with it, I like the philosophy, then you do it. Oh, you think it's no big deal to clean the filter? Well, I don't like it, but you think it's no big deal. Good, we have an efficient division of labor. Then you clean the filter. All of a sudden, you can rinse or not rinse all you want because you don't want to clean the filter, right?
Yeah.
Then it's called the tall glass of shut up juice. Okay, so keeping it real. And then the last thing on this is, on that rinser thing, like I like to rinse too, right? And for me, it's mainly psychological. I haven't analyzed the filter and I don't know what percentage of the food it gets off, but I don't feel good putting something dirty in there. I don't think it's gonna come out perfectly clean.
Yeah, exactly,
right?
Yes, you are correct.
Okay, but it doesn't matter if I'm correct. What I would say if I had a wife who was against rinsing, luckily I don't, but if I did, I would say, you might be right or wrong logically, but I don't feel comfortable not rinsing it. So like stressing me out isn't gonna help, right? I'd rather be slightly irrational and not stressed out. So do you mind me rinsing if it makes me feel better? And if they then go, yeah, I still mind it. I don't care how you feel. Well, then you got a different issue. But if you phrase it that way, I think people will be more understanding of your perspective.
Yeah, agreed.
Thanks for watching The Young Turks, really appreciate it. Another way to show support is through YouTube memberships. You'll get to interact with us more. There's live chat emojis, badges. You've got emojis of me, Anna, John, JR. So those are super fun. But you also get
playback of our exclusive member-only shows and specials right after they air. So all of that, all you gotta do is click that join button right underneath the video. Thank you.